Purpose is what you make it, and you can find passion in almost anything. But I think it's also a choice. How do I grow as a person? How do I help the people around me grow? How do I make a positive impact with the relationships that I build along the way? I come from a really small village in Hong Kong called Sheko. So maybe the people that live there know about it. It's a very quaint, charming little fishing village. 3 generations there, so for most part of my life I grew up there in Hong Kong. My father is from Hong Kong, from Sheko, like I mentioned. My mother is Colombian, so I'm half Colombian, half Chinese. But yeah, I grew up in Hong Kong my whole life until I was 19, and I think I was very influenced by my father because he was traveling all over when he was, already like working, and found himself into the shipping business when he was really young. When I was growing up, I was always very aware of this kind of the excitement of seeing the world and traveling all over the world and meeting people from all over the world. So yeah, I was always very curious about cultures, languages, and travel. So when I was 19, I also had the opportunity to go abroad. So I went with some family friends and moved to New Zealand. So that's where I did university. Every time you change environment, culture, you have to go through a lot of adaptation. It's always a great learning experience, and I think that's what is the most fun about getting to live in different countries and getting to experience different cultures. Even sometimes having to live in countries that you don't speak the language. Like, for example, now I'm trying to learn French, but it's been slow going for me. How are people perceiving you? How is your message being received? What is happening with the dynamics? There's so much cultural context that underpin all these kind of interactions. So every time, you move, you go through those type of moments where you're exploring, yes, the culture, the people, but you're also learning so much about yourself. There's of course the saying in Chinese that, 三歲定八十. When you're 3 years old, your personality is who you're going to be when you're 80. But it's actually not quite true. If you go through enough experiences and you have the internal motivation and you're convinced that you need to change, people are capable of change and growth. Over the years, I've had to evolve, and with changing different countries, working with different cultural groups, your circles, whatever you call it, even more I've had to evolve, because I understand that for different people you have to communicate sometimes in a very different way. You really have to adapt yourself. Actually, it's more, what are you going to find along the way? Who do you become, along the journey? That in itself is much more meaningful and interesting, and I think that's what it's about, rather than thinking about, okay, but where should I be going? Should I do this? Should I do that? I've really learned that it's more about, adapting yourself so that you are able to get a point across, understanding who the person is in front of you, what is their motivation, and then having that very high sense of consideration for the other person when you're dealing between people to people. I don't believe in separating yourself at work and then you have another identity outside of work. I really don't believe in that. I feel being genuine and being sincere are qualities that are really, really important to me. And I think we don't spend enough time trying to build those bridges with people, to try and understand who people are and to build those human connections. I don't think I would be where I am today if it wasn't for very strong and supportive mentors along the way. People that have really inspired me to think differently and to challenge myself differently. I would love to pay it forward and be of help and of service to anyone that find it could be interesting to sound it out with someone, to hear more about, my experiences and how it could help them. There's a part of me that sometimes feel like, okay, yes, I can go and mentor people, but I'm not even done growing up yet. I think Rachel and Daniel twisted my arms about it. I am not naturally, like to be too front-facing and be in front of camera or, people. So, but I mean, I think the project sounded very interesting. I do believe that we don't focus enough about people and the individual and the person behind the title and about, what they do for a living. We all have something to share. So, and like I was mentioning before, having conversations with people just sometimes speaking to someone and asking them the right questions and prompting them to think about things, help them get clarity. It's a good moment to speak more about the humanity side of things and to talk about human relationships in work. We don't talk enough about that.